Well, if Times Square gets rid of its ads, I'm sure we wouldn't see anything from Disney up there. I'm sure Disney has a couple ads in Times Square.
Yeah.
Of course, Disney would have been promoting their new movies that they're putting out and their new TV series. Um, we finally got Black Widow after almost a 2-year wait because it was supposed to come out like in 2019 and they pushed it to 2020 and then 2020 happened.
Even at that point, it was like the movie was dated between Civil War and Infinity War. It's like,
Yeah.
why did it not come out when it was dated? It would have been a $1 billion movie probably.
Mm-hmm.
So moving forward on what you were saying,
Cruella de Vil. It I think it's come out at its original time, hasn't it?
no, it was delayed too. But
It
Yeah.
was delayed as well.
so Cruella, Black Widow, and Jungle Cruise were all scheduled to come out in theaters. So when the contracts were written, most of the actors had box office clauses. So
Mm-hmm.
they took reduced pay up front, and then they got percentage of box office.
And then there was no box office. Mostly because Disney had decided to release it on their own platform, Disney Plus, which was not accounted for in the contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, Black Widow is a really interesting one, right? Because so the Scarlett Johansson went back and forth. She actually has proof that she's tried to renegotiate beforehand. She has proof that she was assured that it will have a theater only release. And all Disney has is, we'll see you in court. So it's interesting to see how it plays out because Disney doesn't lose in court. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what keeps Mickey Mouse trademarked. He's actually not supposed to be trademarked.
Yeah. That
Oh,
trademark ended in
wow.
like 1920.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But
So
Disney has
she's
the money.
how much is she suing Disney for?
Right now, $50 billion. No, or 50 million, sorry, not billion.
God damn. All right,
50 billion
ScarJo.
dollars. No, 50 million. So what she has come up with, what her people, the number they said was she missed out on $50 million because of the box office release.
Mhm.
Well, I believe the last number was that Disney made about 80 million off of Disney Plus,
Bless
the
you.
early access.
Mhm.
So yeah, see, and that's the other thing is Black Widow was also the first movie that Disney Plus has ever put out any information on, like statistics. They
Yeah.
don't put out statistics on
Yeah.
anything.
We have guesstimations for every superhero movie all the way from Iron Man to Endgame. So, that is surprising. But it's still it's not a shock to me that Disney would rather like, oh well, let's just let the courts decide it, and try to set that example precedence. Like, no, we own you, you don't own us. As where HBO Max, before they made their decision to release all their movies on HBO Max, Warner Brothers reached out to all their talent and said, hey, we're renegotiating so we can release on the app only instead of theatrical. Like they did
Or both?
negotiation contracts. Yeah.
Yeah, because they had to pay out, so they
Yeah.
paid out,
Like
and
200
that's
million.
cool.
Yeah.
But again, Warner Media is going through a merger and already a lot of scrutiny from the law, so they don't
Mm-hmm.
want, they probably covered all their ass before it goes.
That makes
Disney
sense.
is in a huge hole right now, and they don't want anyone to know it.
Mm-hmm.
So they're trying to cover and hide and cheat every dollar they can out of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think that they're in a big hole because their theme parks are still open. They've reopened all their theme parks.
Well, no,
The
they are.
ones,
Wasn't Ethan, you were telling us a couple of months ago that they had like purposely plan projects way ahead, and like they're overspent on their budget because they know they'll make that money back on those future projects, right? I believe you were saying that last.
Yeah. So the issue that Disney's having right now is that when they structured everything right before the pandemic, they bought Fox, they bought a few other IPs. Everybody knows about Marvel. So they overspent on a lot of those projects. They overspent on future park projects because they had such a line out of movies coming out. They thought it was going to float the balance sheet. Well, all those movies got delayed 18 months or more or less. So now the balance sheets are not balancing. So
Yeah.
where do they get money? It's going to be Disney Plus. And plus, China just went back into lockdown, so they're probably going to let's start closing the parks again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember, California didn't open up 100% until like last month, and they're about to go back under lockdown. They're pushing for it. So
yeah, and Florida is a hotbed right now. They reported 10,000 cases today.
So how much did did she make off of Black Widow? I think it was like 26 or 20, around 20 million.
25, I think, was what the last number I heard. But she made 25.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I think compared to like other actors too, I think Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. reportedly made from theaters like 50 million or like around that ballpark.
55 million in Endgame.
Chris Hemsworth, Chris Evans.
But no offense to Scarlett Johansson, they are bigger draws in the box. I mean, Robert Downey Jr. does bring in more money at the box office than Scarlett Johansson, and I think I'm curious. I know there's other circumstances, but if you combine all of Black Widow's box office and streaming money and compare it to a movie like Due Date, I'm just curious to see how it would turn out.
Interesting.
I was saying the pay's also going to vary based on like screen time and stuff, right?
Well, it's all on negotiation contract. So, I mean, when it comes down to it, whether you think Scarlett Johansson made enough money, I mean, she sat down and she agreed to work for a certain amount on a contract and signed it herself.
Mm-hmm.
So give the girl what she's due. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well,
I think the only solution that would make her happy is that they factor in Disney plus box office and then give her percentage of the total. I think she would have dropped it then.
Yeah, that'll be a settlement right there.
Yeah.
Disney plus money.
Well, is Keelan, is anyone else considering suing Disney over this?
Emma Stone is for the same thing, but her biggest issue as to why she hasn't opened the case just yet is that they are currently in production with Cruella 2. And then Dwayne Johnson, he made the comment that he wouldn't be looking into a lawsuit with Disney over Jungle Cruise.
Yeah, but knowing his negotiations, how he negotiates, he also just does every movie possible. So I don't see him rocking the boat,
Well, I mean, he's already a Disney prince or Disney god.
Demigod.
I love the Jumanji movies.
And God, he did Hercules.
Mm-hmm.
He was Hercules.
Was he Hercules?
Hercules is a demigod too.
Yeah.
No, he was God who became mortal, and then he decided to stay mortal. He's not.
He had just a little drop of God left.
No, I was talking about Maui.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
He's a demigod in that.
Mm-hmm.
When will we know more about like any settlement, or news, or is it going to be heard by a judge or anything?
I do not know.
So currently they're still in arbitration. So